Hello my friends and welcome to this playthrough video for the expert division in the Football Fever tournament. This video is sponsored by Gold Flash and Playdemic, and I'm going to go through hole number 1 to hole number 9 in one big roll here to show you the best ways to play here in expert. So we're going to start off on hole number 1, and hole number 1 is a hole that I do believe that a use of a berserker could actually be very good. The reason for that is that I do actually want to hit the rough on the end of the rough to the right. You're going to see my shot here just in a bit. When it comes to the playthrough video, we'll be able to see the minutes down below in the description for all the holes. You can basically fast forward if you want that. So 10.2, we're going to go with a berserker, full top spin combined with full right spin. Have in mind that if you do have wind 12 miles per hour or more, I wouldn't suggest to go max overpower. The reason for that is that you will in that case be risking going all the way over the rough and bounce yourself into the rough behind the fairway. So as you can see, we go max overpower, slight curl against the wind, we bounce there perfectly. In the second bounce we do want to get out to the fairway to leave ourselves with a guardian with max backspin, or with a guardian with minimum distance, or a long iron with max distance. I do consider this position where we are at to use actually a tsunami if you do have that, otherwise a Saturn, and then of course the wood club go with a guardian. Our opponent here is going to have a sniper, and I do believe the sniper will be the wrong club in this particular situation, and the reason for it is first and foremost for the distance, and then also that it does not have that max backspin that I do believe is a good use on hole number 1. As you will be able to see, we will be in between clubs, and in between clubs is not the perfect way. Maybe we need to slightly adjust this one a little bit less with right side spin with our drive, because we do want to have our guardian in minimum distance. That will give us some room to play with. Now we're going to adjust this one with a little bit of curl against the wind, because we're in between club and we still want to go with the guardian. So a little bit curl against the wind, slight a little bit underpowered. The reason we go with that type of adjustment is that we of course do not want to bounce ourselves up into the rough, and we want to get to the back of the green, back of the fairway, and roll back down here, giving ourselves an easy birdie. But I do feel like giving ourselves an eagle on this one, then it requires for us to at least put ourselves better with a drive, so we're not in between clubs. And I would consider a way to play hole number 1 could be, as you can see, a way to play hole number 1 could be going with power slice or some kind of trick shot to get over to the right side fairway. Could also be something to work with. As you can see there, I did put in my code, but I've changed the code, so don't be worried about that. So just had to say that. So we're forfeiting hole number 1 and we go to hole number 2. So a simple birdie there on hole number 1, but I would say, like, with a little bit luck with the bounce for the second shot, then absolutely the eagle is in reach. So hole number 2, par 3, and we're going to play this one with the guardian, and the guardian will be a featured club for us, especially now in the beginning. We're going to have some crosswind, which is the tougher wind on this par 3. I do suggest that you use a Titan or a Kingmaker to give yourself the distance and not being in a situation where you have to overpower your shot. As you will be able to see here now, our opponent needs to overpower, and with overpower it's always risky to go too much too great on the right or to the left. Now he gets a little bit short, but shouldn't be a problem to put this one in for a birdie. And I consider this one to be a birdie hole. Sure, we can get a hole-in-one, but then I really do hope that you bag that hole-in-one when it comes to the weekend round. So we're going to go with the guardian here. We're going to go with the 5 bars of backspin combined with 2 bars of side spin to the left to kind of counter for the bounce that we're going to get. Then we're going to adjust this one slightly to the left of the pin. As you can see on the third bounce, we're going to have the third bounce after the pin. We're going to adjust 2 rings extra than we have to. So we're going to go with 8 rings for this hole to give ourselves that extra room, because this hole is played in a downhill measure, so we're playing over the water and a little bit downhill. As you can see, we're going basically straight up. We're going a little bit too short, so either we need to adjust maybe 1 ring more, 1.5 ring more, or we need to remove some backspin on our shot. So we have to decide, but otherwise we're going to leave this hole with an easy birdie on hole number 2. Hole number 3, and I really have been starting to like hole number 3 a lot, and that is because I do believe we going to at least be very close to making albatrosses on this par 5, and also maybe if we bag an albatross, it's going to definitely be something good for us, and I would consider this one to be a good one to make an albatross, especially in the opening round, to give ourselves the tiebreaker, because there will be many many players that do have the same score. We're going to go with max topspin on our Apocalypse level 4 with Apocalypse level 5 that has 6 yards more of distance. Then I would be going with 1 bar less of topspin. We're going to adjust this one a little bit more than according to the guide. The reason for that is because this ball is affected a little bit more by the wind. As you can see, we went with approximately 6.5 rings. Going to go with 2 bar side spin to the right as well, and some curl against the wind, some slight overpower to give ourselves the boost and the bounce over the rough on the right side to give ourselves an open shot for the rough bump to the pin. Our opponent here is going to go the other side, and I don't blame him, you know, and but in the end, like with having an extra mile level 8, it should definitely be possible to go over on the right side. Needs maybe some slight overpower, and I would say this one is going to be in the rough or in the bunker on the left. And now I would see this one as impossible to reach for the green in 2, and that's, you know, that is something that will happen for many players out there that will go into the rough, try to play as too close towards the trees, and then make a birdie instead of an eagle. So we're going to go with 2.5 bar of backspin combined with 1 side spin to the right. As you can see, we're aiming on the right side of the cup, and as you can see here, 7.3 in wind. We're going to give ourselves an adjustment for a max distance. We're going to see this as the sniper is 1 mile per hour per ring. So we're going to adjust 7, slightly more than 7 rings for this shot. And then of course we need to hit the perfect. This is a tough and aggressive line, and if you don't feel comfortable with that shot, then of course you can give yourself a bounce over the water. We went a little bit too much to the right, so we kind of had to reduce that adjustment just a little bit, or remove the side spin just a little bit. But otherwise, I do really feel comfortable going with that approach, and it's going to be very interesting to see in the opening round how we're going to play that one. So our opponent from the rough gets out to the fairway, nothing more to do. Sure, if you feel uncomfortable with the drive and maybe see, okay, I will probably be in the rough or at least close, then maybe take an Amazon in your bag, because it has an amazing amount of topspin. Give yourself a little bit further down the fairway, but that is like very high technicality in that way. And sure, you kind of want to secure to have the best rough iron being there around the pin. But in the end, like as you can see, we're very happy with the drive, very happy with the second shot, even though it didn't drop, but we are there close, and that is what counts, to be there close, because then it could definitely drop if we had that little bit extra luck. So hole number 4, another par 5, back-to-back par 5s, and if I would like hole 3, I would consider this one to be absolutely my favorite hole to play. And the reason for that is this is definitely an albatross attempt, and I would see this as hole number 3 and hole number 4. I would be slightly disappointed if I'm not dropping any of them in either opening round or the weekend round, to put a little bit more pressure. We're going to go with 3.5 bar of topspin combined with max side spin to the right, max curl to the right like iPad curl, combined with hitting this ball perfect. And you know, this one will end up perfectly. We could adjust our shot a little bit more to the right to kind of counter for if we do hit our ball great on the left side. But either way, we end up nicely there in the middle of the fairway. And then we're going to have a long iron for the pin, and that shot I do really like. And I would say, even with an extra mile level 8 or our extra mile level 7, apocalypse level 4, 5, 6, 7, then you should definitely be able to reach over there. Even considered to be like taking a extra mile level 6 and an apocalypse level 2, level 3 with a berserker ball maybe, or with a kingmaker or a titan, it should be possible. The thing is here, like, you need to reach over here to give yourself a good albatross opportunity. The problem our opponent has here and does is that he or she is using too much topspin. That's why I'm not using max topspin, because I know my ball will be pushed into the rough if I'm using too much topspin, because it doesn't have the speed into the right that needs to. But with too much topspin, then you will go into the rough on the left there. So 2 bars of topspin for our Goliath level 7. We are in minimum distance a little bit plus, and we're going to adjust this one basically according to the guide. So almost 3 rings for our adjustment with the 2 bars of topspin. And this is definitely something I would like to have spot on when it comes to this hole. So we go with a little bit less, as you saw, as three rings. And if we take 3 rings the next time with 8.5 with that particular distance, then I do believe this one would have been in the hole. But in the end, we're going to be close on this one. And the key, of course, with the long iron there is to have 2 bars of topspin. If you don't feel comfortable by going with a long iron in the rough, because you don't feel safe that you will get up to the pin, etc., then go with a long iron like the Saturn with the max backspin on the back of the green, make it fall back down. But in the end, like, having ourselves with that position, the rough bump will definitely be the best way to get an albatross. So my friends, that was hole number 4. So we're going to go now to hole number 5, a par 3. And I would say a par 3 that we may be coming close, but the first bounce do decide so much on where we're going to land on the green. And then maybe some people think, okay, Tommy, you're having straight sideways, shouldn't you be going in with the rough bump after the bunker? Yeah, sure, but you know, we do have such a small piece of rough to hit that if we do hit our ball great, we're going to most likely be short and be having this really crazy bounce with our long iron and with the ball that we will stay in the rough, and that is not something we would like to do. We're going with 5 rings plus, like 5.5 rings, and we're going to go max curl. I would change one thing with this approach, and that is that I don't believe that max curl is the play here. I do feel like having a little bit less curl, so we do have a little bit more straighter bounce on that fairway push, so we get a little bit further up. Because the max side spin to the right combined with the backspin will make the ball go kind of a curve on the green and most likely going to be short. So take away a little bit of curl and then you should definitely be golden. And you know, again, rough bump, sure, if you feel accurate enough to hit that rough, but otherwise go with a little bit more safer way to go on the left side, giving yourself the opportunity to just score an easy birdie, and maybe if you get that bounce that you're looking for, then you could get an hole in one on this hole number 5. So okay, we're going to go to hole number 6 now, and hole number 6 is definitely a hole that we will see people trying to go for the rough bump, but you know, the rough bump there is, in my opinion, one of the toughest plays here, and I would actually consider to go on the side, and I'm going to tell you why when we come to that particular shot. First, we're going to do our drive, and here the game makers has been very kind to us that we are actually getting tailwind on this drive. So therefore, this is going to be an easy drive. We do not have to overpower a shot. We're going to adjust this one, stretch it out a little bit, and then we're going to adjust it for 6 ring while adjusting from an overpowered perspective. And the thing that I mean there is that I do drag it out, then I adjust for the rings while have been dragging the ball out. So we're going to go with max side spin to the left. The reason for that is to give ourselves as an open line as possible to the left of the rough and the bunker in front of the pin, so we don't have to curl it that much. But you know, that approach that is not the rough bump, it's going to be very tough to make an eagle from that position. So I definitely do consider this one to be a hole where we do want to just secure the birdie, but at least again, if we do get a good bounce, especially the first bounce with our sniper here, then we're going to definitely go for the eagle. I can also say, like, if you're having a snow globe ball or a turbo ball and you're having apocalypse level 6 plus, then you could actually try to go over to the second fairway directly if you do have kind of a straight tailwind. And you know, that is a very, very tricky approach. The thing is, like, even if you put yourself in the rough on front, then you will be able to reach for the green in 2. We're going to go with not 5 rings, a little bit less than 5 rings, and as you see this play, this is very much uphill, so we have to take away distance a lot here. We bounce it up, we're coming in close, and then it bites, so a little bit too short. But as you could see, 5 rings when we had 8 miles per hour, when the sniper basically would be 8 rings for that particular adjustment. But we are uphill, then the numbers do change, and we give ourselves that room. This is a hole where I'm in the beginning. When I played this hole the first time, I went into the bunker several times because I adjusted it like I would be playing just a normal shot. But now, like, and of course since a long time ago, this hole is a lot of uphill, and then we need to have that in mind while adjusting. Our opponent's going to go with basically the same type of shot, a little bit more with the tiger line to go by the rough there, giving a good bounce actually towards the pin. And again, both shots worked out perfectly in the way that we secure a safe birdie. And we're going to, here in the end, we're going to go directly to hole number 7, par 3. For us, and this is going to be a shot here that we are going to go on the left side. And the reason we're going on the left side is because we do find ourselves in a situation where we do want to play with the wind instead of against the wind. So our opponent is using the Guardian here, and the Guardian, sure, could be definitely a good club here. I would consider going with the Guardian or with the Sniper. When adjusting for this shot, you need to have in mind that you're playing downhill. So you kind of, even though we are in medium distance towards the pin, then you need to adjust it as you were in max distance to kind of counter for playing this one in downhill. So, and this is a very tough one to get an hole-in-one on, and I would consider all the par 3s to be birdie holes. If we bag an hole-in-one in any kind, be very, very happy with that. And we are going to go on the left side here, as I said to you. We are going to go with 3 bars of backspin. Almost 3 bars, sorry. And we're going to go with 2 bars of side spin to the right. As you can see on the ball guideline, we do have it a little bit after the pin, to give us that little room because of the headwind combined with the side wind, that the push that we're going to get. We're going to adjust it for 7 rings. As I said before, we are in medium distance with our club, but we're adjusting for the club to be in max distance. No curl whatsoever. We hit it perfect. Want to use the fairway there to bounce ourselves up to the green. Getting a good bounce, coming in there, coming in a little bit over the pin. But in the end, I like that roll. I like the speed of the ball. So 2.5 bar of backspin combined with 2 bars side spin to the right. Maybe if you want to go a little bit closer, then go with 2.5 bar side spin to the right. Hole number 8, my friends. And now we're going to go with a shot that is going to be risky, but it could be definitely a hole that could, a shot that could change your look at this particular hole. It requires a berserker, or some kind of snow globe or a turbo ball, and you do want to go with 3.5 bar of topspin, or I would say like 3.5 bar or 3 bars of topspin, not more than that, because then you will have too much. As you can see on the blue arrows there, we are adjusting from that, so we're adjusting for basically 5 there, and then we're going to adjust a little bit more, so we're adjusting approximately around 8 rings for that adjustment. And we're going to go with slight amount of overpower combined with curl. And I know this is a very, very tough approach. We hit it perfect, and we want to bounce on the first fairway to push ourselves over to the next one. We get to the top there, which is absolutely perfect. We could almost kind of reduce some overpower as well. And we land perfectly towards the pin. Now, we have a very good opportunity to make an eagle, and here I would say if you are an Endbringer person like I am, even if you have it in a maxed out level, I would consider you to change to the rapier. The reason for that is that you want to have a lot of backspin, because hitting the ball on the fringe will give you a different push towards the pin. And as I always say, never use the fringe when you're bouncing towards the hole, because it's very, very inconsistent. So use a wedge that gives you a lot of backspin. That goes the same for choosing the rough iron and choosing the sand wedge, if you feel comfortable enough to go over to the second fairway as we did. So you can see here now with the ball guide, check the ball guide line here now. Max backspin, and we're lining it up towards the pin. Now we're going to, of course, go with a very close line to the fringe here, so we're not bouncing after the pin. And this shot is not going to be affected a lot at all by the wind, but as you can see, check the ball guide line now when we drag it back. Look at the change when we come over to the fringe. It goes directly to the right, so we kind of need to hit this one just after the fringe to not come in too hot. So that is the reason for why we want to go with a rapier instead. But as you can see, we're hitting it great. With a perfect, this could have been in, or we would have bounced over the hole. But in the end, we make a birdie here in the playthrough, and we are happy with that. But in the end, if we find ourselves with that position in when we play in the qualifier or in the opening round or in the weekend round, then we should definitely give ourselves that eagle. We are straight tailwind. We do not have anything to blame on if we do miss that shot, more than if we pick the wrong club. Of course, then we can blame ourselves. So our opponent is in the rough on the left, going to just land on the green here. And of course, if you find yourself in the rough for your drive, then you're going to have a tough time to reach for the green in 2. And okay, Tommy, if you're not going to play it in this way, then you can play it going on the second platform if you want to, or you can actually lay up short on the first piece of fairway and go from there. So hole number 9, last hole here now, and now we're going to try to get over to the second fairway. We're going to use a long iron here, or we do want to use a long iron that is either an upgraded Tsunami or an upgraded Saturn as a long iron. We want to go with a Thorn as short iron. The reason for that is that we are going to have a very tough approach for our second shot if we're not having the backspin for it. First and foremost, we're going to go with our driver. We're going to go with slight amount of overpower with 10.6 in wind. Going to have a berserker. This hole is definitely possible to play even with like a blue marble ball, with a snowman, snowman ball, Go max curl, slight amount of overpower, using the top spin that we do have on the Apocalypse level 6, but you know, you could reach over here even with an extra mile if you get a good first bounce there on the fairway. And of course an Apocalypse level 4, 5 would work perfectly as well. So our opponent is going to go with a snowman ball here, and you could be able to see here that it's absolutely possible to reach over. A little bit less wind though, and that's why the Berserker is a little bit easier to work with, so you don't have to overpower that much with your club. And now I would say the thing that goes wrong with this shot for Samuel here is that he needs to use max side spin. Sorry, max curl to the left. Side spin. Of course side spin as well, but max curl to the left to give himself that push over to the second fairway that needed, because this shot would definitely reach over to the second fairway with more curl than he used. So from this particular situation, we're going to have, as you can see, we're going to have the Goliath. Why do we choose the Goliath? It's such a wrong club to go with, because now we can't go for the dunk. And yes, we're going to go for the dunk on this shot, but then it requires that we do have some more backspin. That's why the Tsunami or the Saturn is the long iron to go with. Now the only thing we can do when we do get in a situation where we choose the wrong club, then we can only play ourselves to the green, give ourselves an easy eagle, and yeah, be satisfied with that. And then of course write down so we do remember for the next time while playing this hole to go with another type of long iron. So my friends, this was hole number 9, and this was the playthrough for Expert Division in the Football Fever tournament, and this is the correct tournament win. I would love to make a shout out for the new group Golf Clash United that you can find on Facebook. This is a group made for you guys that do watch our channels, and it's a group that we of course do not do focus on the game, and we focus on having fun and learning how to play the game. So apply to join, be there in a drama-free zone, and just focus on having fun, because that is what this game is all about. Our opponent having the rough iron here, going to have no problem to reach for the green here, and this is a good shot and going to end up kind of close to the pin and be an easy putt for the eagle. So my friends, this video is sponsored by Playdemic and Golf Clash. If you have any questions, please pick up in the comment section below. In the end here, I want to wish you the best of luck in the Football Fever tournament.